So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Brandon Stokely here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Time is running out. Heat pump rebates are being cut in half October 1st. Heat pumps are the best option for your home. They cool in the summer and heat in the winter. They offer superior comfort and efficiency compared to your old air conditioner and furnace. The countdown is on. Don't wait. Colorado's heat pump experts, ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Audible makes traffic less of an annoyance and more of an opportunity for another chapter. Audible, stories that speak to you. New members can start listening with a 30-day free trial at audible.com.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Philip Lindsay. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight. Taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports. From your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more. DenverSports.com.
A Tuesday edition of Denver Sports Tonight. Marcelo Romano, Dante Gomez. The Mez will take you over the next hour. You can participate in the show on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. You can also participate on YouTube on the chat powered by Champ Honda. Good Tuesday evening, Gomez. What's up, bud?
Nothing much. How you doing, Chell?
I'm doing good. Hey, plenty of stuff to get into, and over the next hour we'll do some camp updates because Dante's out there. I also heard that you might be – are you a question poacher? Just kidding with you, man. I'm just playing.
Yesterday I was.
Yeah. Well, it was a good question, right? I liked your defense. Hey, they weren't there. Someone had to do it. You were there. You took care of it.
I think Zach should be happy that I asked about it. If not, we wouldn't have had the answer on the iPad for our show. So,
but very defensive on the other side. Like, hey, pump the brakes. You can't take my question, dog.
He's just making a point because I told him he couldn't take my question the week before that.
Yeah. That's all fun and games. Anyways, we'll get to a quick camp update since Dante Gomez has been out there. He's been out there almost every day, so we'll get some updates as far as what we've seen today. I also want to spend some time on the truth serum, the sodium pentotheliate or whatever it is that Kay Adams is whenever she rolls into town. Especially with Sean Payton, you get answers to questions that I'm not sure you would have normally got answers to. That just kind of speaks to the relationship he has with Kay Adams. He seems like he's super comfortable, but she also sat down with Bo Nix, so we'll get into some of that as well. And then, of course, we'll do some of the Penner stuff with the stadium downtown. We've seen a ton of movement on that over the last couple weeks. Ever since Damani Leach came out and said there's days he's frustrated, there's days that he's happy with the progress, we've seen, I think, more reports about the stadium and what's going forward, and then the big check that they just wrote to secure another plot of land of 10 acres, and then Evan Ingram's lack of productivity out at camp, Nikola Jokic being wooed by Greeks, I think, so we'll get into that. And then also, maybe if we do have time in that final segment, Dante, since we are both baseball guys, Rockies made a move, bringing up some young talent, so I want to ask you some questions on that. But let's get started off on what you have seen or perceived out at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit. What are the big takeaways over the last couple of days?
Well, the injury bug is certainly biting this team, and we've seen Wattenberg not participate for a couple days now. Sutton was back out there, so that was a welcome sight. Jalen Waddle was not participating either. J.K. Dobbins was limited in his participation at practice as well. So especially at the center position, and we talked about it during the drive, but they had Quinn Miners taking snaps at center at one point,
crazy.
Which is never a good sign when your all-pro guard is having to shift over to center there. So someone went down there. Michael Dieter went down, had to be carted off, so a little bit serious situation there. So the injury bug is certainly biting this team, and I do think today specifically after Dieter went down, the whole energy from practice just shifted, and not a lot of juice out there, I would say. and it's the dog days of training camp, and I get that. But to this point, I thought the Broncos had been doing a great job in terms of keeping that juice up, the excitement up, and the fans bring a lot of that as well. But today just seemed to be lacking a little bit.
Yeah, and I think you're getting to that point, like you said, the dog days of training camp, where you're getting kind of sick of going against the same guys. And they got 2 more sleeps until they get to see a different face on the other side of the ball, which is exciting, but it's also Waddle's not going to play. I don't think Mims will play. I do find it interesting how they're going to kind of approach it with Bo Nix, because that was the biggest of concerns in the offseason about the health of Bo Nix. But after they both sat down with Kay Adams, it kind of seems like they're going all systems go. Like if something unfortunate happens, that's just the way it goes. They're not taking – I'm not saying that they're throwing caution to the wind, but they aren't being overly cautious either. The big concern with the injury bug, and I know some of the guys that have been carted off and their seasons are ended, and that's horrible, especially for a guy like Henningsen. But these soft tissue questions are concerning to me. I think I talked to you about it last week, is when it comes to muscular problems, those linger, and they can linger all season long. So I do like that they're taking the proper approach of saying, all right, we're starting to see too much of this. What do they call it? A warm down? This is what they're calling it out of practice now.
Afterwards, when they stretch a little bit?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we don't even, I don't know, were you able to tour the facility? Because it's like state-of-the-art. John Hammond from Jurassic Park spared no expense. State-of-the-art doesn't even do it justice to what the Denver Broncos have and what they're, just the medical advancements we have in society, but how they're utilizing all that data to try and either prevent injury or help recover quicker from it. So hopefully they put all that to use with this squad this year, because you don't want a lot of the pieces that we're talking about with that soft tissue are big pieces that spell success for the Broncos in 2026.
Absolutely, and that's what concerns me about Bo Nix playing, at least in the first preseason game. I don't want him out there with a bunch of backup receivers. I want him out there with guys he's going to be playing with on Sundays, because at that point, you're putting Bo Nix at risk if he's out there with 4 wide receivers that he's not familiar with, when he's out there with a center that he's not familiar with. I think that can lead to him holding the ball a little bit longer, maybe a missed transaction between him and the center. I just feel like you're putting too much on Bo Nix's plate at that point, too early. So I'd like to make sure that we have the complementary pieces out there if Bo Nix is going to play. And I did not get the full tour of the facility. I've seen bits and pieces from walking in. We saw the Broncos owner, Greg Penner, gave a press conference today. That was in the main part of the new building over there, so saw a little bit more today. But everything that I've seen, absolutely beautiful, state-of-the-art. It's built for the players in mind, built for the coaches in mind, where it's very streamlined from where the players go from the locker room. It's a very big locker room as well, but they go straight from the locker room, and it's just easy access to wherever they need to go. It prioritizes that first, so I thought that was very cool, but everything that I've seen from it's absolutely beautiful.
All right, I do want to get let me go through this Kay Adams stuff real quick with you, and then I want to, if you could fill me in on Greg Penner. Is that one of your buds now too?
He did say hi to me the other day, but I think it was more a coincidence. I was standing by the door next to the cafeteria, and I was the closest one there. He had walked out, and naturally I just saw the door open, so I turned my head over. He gave me a little hello. I returned the hello, and then about 5 seconds later, I'm like, I think that was Greg Penner.
So you didn't recognize him?
No, I mean, in the immediate, I was just kind of turning my head just because the door opened, a couple feet away from me. So it's just more of a natural instinct when I turned over there, and I just said hello, not really knowing who I was saying hello to until, again, it took a couple seconds to click.
All right. Kay Adams was back in town yesterday. And I said it as we kind of opened up the show. She's kind of like the truth serum for at least Sean Payton, but it seemed like she was able to get a lot out of Bo Nix, too. I'll start right there with his comments about running the football kind of gets him going into games. And if you really kind of break down Bo Nix's numbers, Dante, his first and third quarter splits versus his second and fourth quarter splits, they're drastically different, which could kind of lead to the slow starts. But traditionally, we always hear, first and third quarter, first 15 plays are what? They're scripted. It's the plays you liked the best during the week, and for whatever reason, they haven't really been able to execute those. So my question to you is, do you have a problem with it? A couple weeks ago, I was chicken little. I was worried about Bo Nix and his ankle. just hearing him speak, seeing the footage of him out there, I'm just going to go with the flow. I mean, what is worrying going to do anyways? And it doesn't seem like they're overly concerned about it. But I was concerned, like, well, let's maybe dial back the designed runs. But if that's something that gets him going, and you can't really change that identity. When he was on with Kay Adams, he said, I'll go all the way back to high school. It's that first hit. It's that first run. It's that first big yardage game where I'm utilizing my legs. That's what really gets me going in games. And we've seen in some of these late game kind of heroics that he's had, plays break down, and he's on his feet making the plays. So do you have an issue with it, or do you think keeping it the same status quo, keep the same type of similar, even designed runs in the playbook is what they'll do in 2026?
I think they should keep it status quo. I get that you want to keep your quarterback healthy, but at the same time, Bo Nix is at his best when he's a dual threat, and he's one of the better athletes at quarterback in the NFL. So I think it's important that you don't try to almost scare him away from it as well, because I want him out there. I don't want him thinking of like, oh, I can't run here because I'm going to injure my ankle or anything like that. I want him out there just playing football. And that's the best version of Bo Nix, is fourth quarter, not thinking as much, just going out there and being a football player. So I don't want this coaching staff getting in his head about, hey, you need to run less, or hey, we need to take out some of these designed runs. I want the full abilities of Bo Nix to be on display. And for me, that includes running the ball.
I got a question for you then, if you're going to be out there tomorrow. What precautions, if any, are they taking with Bo Nix? Is it a heavier brace? Is it – because we all know tape lasts, but it lasts about like 15 minutes before it's not really doing a job other than within the mentality of the athlete, right? Does he get spatted, like those type of deals? Or are they just not even concerned, or is that a player decision?
It doesn't appear that there's any extra precautions. Obviously, in training camp, you don't want anybody hitting your quarterback, so no one's taking too many. I feel bad blaming him on that one. I think he fell into it more than anything. I don't think it was purposeful, so I don't think that he's getting hit, obviously, when he's out there. But from the point of view that the media has, it doesn't appear that they're taking any extra precautions versus what they would do, even a year ago.
All right. She also spent a ton of time talking. Listen, Pat Bryant, to say he's the darling of camp would be an understatement. And not that it's not deserved either. This isn't like a camp darling where it was a name, maybe a later round selection where you were surprised by them, and then kind of when you get to the regular season, the cream rises to the top. But there was a lot of talking points with Kay Adams, and locally too. I mean, you've been out there. You've been able to see it with your own two eyes. Just the change that he's made. And here's what I loved about Pat Bryant during the end of last year. I struggle with the concussion thing because I think it's scary that you get one and then you got a subsequent one like right after that. But he had become very reliable to the point where like the Broncos, this isn't news to them. Last year when they decided that Devon Vele was expendable, I think a lot of that had to do with what they saw early out of Pat Bryant. So now that it's one thing to just be like a possession receiver and get those opportunities, but all the glowing remarks that he's getting from teammates, not just on the offensive side, not from his head coach, but defensively as well. Vance Joseph said he's the guy in that room. Said he can block, he can go vertical, he can do whatever you need to. He does it. He's very sure-handed. I wonder if we're sleeping on something great with Pat Bryant here.
I certainly was sleeping on it early, and Zach and Phil have been drooling all over him all camp, and I wasn't quite buying what they were selling, and I thought he's had a good camp, but maybe not as impressive as they had led on. But after the last couple days, he does look the part, and he makes every catch that he possibly can. If it hits his hands, he's going to catch the ball. Reliable, which you just mentioned there, is the perfect word to describe Pat Bryant, maybe aside from the concussions and availability aspect of it. But if he's on the field and the ball hits his hands, he is going to come down with that ball. And Sean Payton has been very complimentary of him, Bo Nix, Kay Adams in their interviews. So it feels like everybody's on board for that. I'd still like to see him go out there and do it in an NFL regular season game. Not that he didn't produce last year, but to the extent that people are expecting now, based on him having a good camp. So I think he's going to go out there and really earn his touches, and he has earned his touches based on how he's performed out there. But I am, like I said, a little bit slower maybe to hop on that bandwagon that he's going to be the next 1,000-yard receiver or anything like that.
That's fair. I'm going to put you on the spot, though, real quick, Dante. All right, and if I asked you right now, who's the most talented team in the NFL? What's
That's a good question?
Because here's what I wonder is like,
I'm going to say the Rams.
I agree with you there, but if you look at like Atlanta, I think there's some envy for what they have there too. I mean, they don't have the quarterback, but they have the running back and Bijan Robinson. They got Drake London. They have a lot of talent there, and probably just more individual talent. The reason I ask you the question, because a couple years ago, I think you could say the Detroit Lions were in that conversation, but are the Broncos quietly putting themselves into that conversation with the drafts that they've had of late? And I know we have to wait and see and let it play out, but as far as the way the organization talks about these guys and what we've seen out at camp and then just what they were able to do last year, only assuming that there's going to be more growth going this year, I think they're just on that outside looking in now. Now, it has to play out, but damn, dude, like we're all of a sudden so confident in our running back room. Our receiver room is wildly deep. We have defensive players that just need opportunities, and will they get them or not? And 24 months ago, it was the 31st ranked roster, according to ESPN or according to experts.
You mentioned, are they quietly there? I don't think it's all that quiet. I think they're very loudly in that discussion, and I would find it hard to find 5 rosters that are better than them. I would say they're on par with teams like the Rams, the Eagles, the Seahawks. I don't see a big drop-off between those teams and what the Broncos are bringing. And you know what the best news about what I just said there is? Those other 3 teams, all NFC teams. So I would say it's pretty fair to say the Broncos might have the best roster in the AFC at this point. But yeah, I don't think it's all that quiet. I think that's pretty nationally recognized at this point.
Wow, I would disagree with you on that.
Oh, Ray, you think I'm overselling?
No. I agree with you. I think you kind of have them rated properly. I think there's people in Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, maybe even Cincinnati that would say their teams are more talented. They're not. Cincinnati's certainly not defensively, but offensively they have an embarrassment of riches in Cincinnati, especially with Joe Burrow leading the charge there with Jamar Chase. I guess my point would be that there's not really any household names, so we need to wait for them to really break on the scene. We're talking about it locally because that's all we're basing it off of. But nationally, I think they probably – and I would look at like where they're ranked as far as Super Bowl odds. Well, I think there's, 12 teams that have better – is it 12 teams? Are there 12?
I think it is
in that
12.
list, something like that. So that's what I mean by it. And if they have a great enough – they piggyback off of last year's success and some of these guys continue to grow into their own before they even get to their real prime, then they'll be in that conversation.
Yeah, and you pointed out they are developing their guys as well, and a lot of these guys are homegrown. Outside of Jalen Waddle, it's basically all homegrown talent here. So I'm going to disagree. I think there's 5 to 10 guys that are nationally recognized on this Broncos team, though, and Pat Surtain, Nick Bonito, Jalen Waddle, part of that conversation. I think J.K. Dobbins, when he's healthy, is very nationally recognized as well. So I would disagree. I think that this roster up and down is known pretty well across the league. So, and I think it's only going to get even more to be that case with guys like Zach Allen, who's been, to me, probably the best defender on the Broncos outside of a guy like Patrick Surtain.
Super underrated.
Incredibly underrated, and maybe this is the year that finally pops for him, or maybe it's the consistency that gets him there, where it's like, hey, this guy's put together 5 straight really good seasons. It's time for everybody else to recognize what we've been seeing in Denver. So I think this roster is incredible, and I think people around the league are taking recognition of that. You don't go out and win 14 games without that. You don't go to the AFC. Yeah. You're not hosting the AFC Championship without a loaded roster. So I think, and then there's guys, again, that are homegrown development guys like Troy Franklin, like Pat Bryant, that might go out there and be those fantasy darlings. And that's when people really start to take recognition. And you go from more of the football-centric person to maybe more of the casual fans are going to start knowing some of these guys as well.
So Kay Adams sat down with Bo. We kind of reviewed that, and then she sat down with Sean Payton as well. And we know over the past couple of years that when Kay Adams is in town, she gets Sean Payton to kind of divulge more information. And he's always in a good mood when Kay's in town. So you're going to get a more personable Sean Payton, someone who's going to give you a little bit more detail. Here's a couple of things. And one of the discussions that we've had all off season Once the decision was made to relinquish play calling duties and to allow Davis Webb to take the reins primarily to call plays, of course she was going to ask about that when she's in town. And Sean Payton's response to that is one that I don't necessarily love. And I don't know if you have it in there, Dante, but it's basically about, it compares his relationship with Davis Webb this year to your kid or when any of us were in driver's ed. And you may be at the wheel. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's just hear it from Sean Payton.
We'll still be real involved. I think when you have a young coach like Davis and you see something in him, and he's called plays in the preseason, you remember driver's ed when it was in high school and you had the steering wheel, but the teacher had the brake and they were right next to you. This is before they went online. So I'll be next to him. And if there's something we need, he's not going to fail. Like, he's going to be great at it, and I'm going to make sure he is, and we'll be better as a team for it.
That's a lot for a couple different reasons. If you did take driver's ed, when you had that instructor sitting in the passenger seat, it wasn't always comfortable. In fact, I would argue that it was very, very uncomfortable.
I don't think it was uncomfortable because they were there, though. I think it was uncomfortable because I'm driving a car for the 5th time in my entire life.
Well, I'll give you a quick story. When I got my permit, I get on a highway, and this was an old school kind of on-ramp where you had to circle around. And I'm with my dad, and he goes, go get on the highway. This is the first time driving. I come around that corner. Of course, there's a semi coming, and all he says to me is, you better punch it. So if that's the kind of instructor that Sean Payton's going to be, like, hey, you better figure it out. You are driving this thing now. I can be your fail-safe. That's fine. But if it's another one of the notepad is out and you're constantly critiquing, that's what I mean as far as the instructor being with you, always over your shoulder, like signaled too late, signaled improperly, didn't stop, whatever it is. That's the kind of thing where I do believe he's going to give him the reins and give him the leash to have success. And I think it's great that he's the ultimate fail-safe. But I also know that Sean Payton, that's all he's ever known. So when he gives me that analogy, it's like, I'm giving it to him, but you don't have your license yet. You can't take this car out by yourself. And you have to have me with you, first of all, and you have to have my permission to make any of the moves. So that's where I'm kind of a little bit concerned. I think it's an interesting dichotomy, like how free are you going to be? It's the Broncos offense, and I get that. But what different nuances does Davis Webb add that Sean Payton may not have had?
I get wanting to be free, but I don't know if Davis Webb's earned the right to be completely free of Sean Payton kind of looking over his shoulder during these times.
Well, he doesn't. He's his boss.
Exactly. I have no problem with Sean Payton meddling, if you want to call it that, in offensive play calling. So I think it's all going to work out anyway, but I have no problem with Sean being that failsafe and looking over Davis's shoulders. And some guys work better that way, of having some pressure on them, a little fire under their butt, and that's what motivates these guys. So I have no problem at this point. Davis hasn't earned the right, as a play caller, at least in my mind, to be carefree of Sean Payton when it comes to calling his plays. I think sometimes you need a little bit of a mentor of sorts to overlook you while you're doing your job, at least at the beginning.
Listen, man, I'm not asking him to kind of give him the autonomy that probably like Vance Joseph has on the defensive side of things. But I also know that if it becomes too much, because we're all just, and from his comments, that's his perception of it. He's comfortable with giving it that analogy. Like, that's where I'll be comfortable. So I have control. I still have a little bit of control. But you always get friction in relationships when people don't see eye to eye. Now, as long as this has been clearly specified between the two, because I go back to the comments he made a couple weeks ago, there'll be mandates, there'll be suggestions, and he'll be there the whole time. I also don't want Davis Webb to actually have to hold Sean Payton's hand to do this job. You got to entrust him with the job that you've given him to do.
I get that, but at the beginning, and we want to continue using this comparison of the driver's ed, it's good that the driver's ed teacher has the brake on his side and has an extra wheel over there and can take over when it's necessary. Davis Webb's never done this job before, so I have no problem, like I said, with Sean Payton kind of looking over his shoulder and making sure everything goes well, just because Davis needs the training wheels, at least to start. If this thing they come out like gangbusters and they're 6-0 over that incredibly tough stretch, and then at that point I think Sean would be willing to be a little more hands-off in that approach. But I think especially early on it makes sense for Sean to be more hands-on.
Couple of the things that we got with his sit down with Kay Adams, was, of course, Bo Nix will be judged on his wins and losses. I love how Sean Payton kind of points to his wins and losses and that he's won just as much as anyone else in that class, and that Sean basically kind of took a flyer on Bo Nix because not a lot of people had him rated as a first round quarterback. But then he also doubled down on the comments last year. You remember when we were like, is it premature for Sean Payton to be putting these expectations on his quarterback and on his team, saying that Bo Nix will be a top 5 quarterback in the next couple years and that this is a championship level team? Kay Adams asked him that, and he said this one is too, and that this one is better. So, I mean, listen, if he's been kind of prophetic in his statements, we hope he nails it again on this one, because then they'll be challenging and competing for a Super Bowl come February.
I don't disagree with Sean. I think this team is better than the one we saw a year ago. I don't know if they're going to be as lucky as the team we saw a year ago and be able to go, 14-1 or something like that.
I think it was in one-score games.
Yes.
I think it was like 11-1.
11-1,
Yeah.
but 14 comeback wins.
Yeah.
So I think a little bit of luck factored in part of that. I don't know if they're going to be as lucky, but I think they're going to be a better version of themselves.
Yeah, it'll be we're fixing to find out, as the great Gary Kubiak once said. All right, coming up, there has been some momentum, and hopefully in the positive direction, on the Broncos' new stadium. Owner Greg Penner had a lot to say today. We'll get into some of that coming up next.
Catch up on everything happening at DenverSports.com. Weeknights from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. with Denver Sports Tonight. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app.
Hi, Dan Cicchini, Done Right Home Improvements. For an 8% scheduling incentive and a special financing rate of 0% APR with 72 equal monthly payments, go to drhi.com. Kitchens, baths, counters, and floors, finished basements, windows, and doors. You have our word, we'll treat you right at Done Right.
When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Guys, are you looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get Advanced Hair's breakthrough one-day treatment during their once-yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during Advanced Hair's best offer ever. For details and a free consultation, call 720-459-HAIR or at advancedhair.com.
Dental phobia? Consider Sedation Dentistry with Clarkson Dental. Their highly trained team will lead you through an exceptional dental experience, from that first fearful call all the way through to aftercare. Call the most experienced sedation dentist and staff. Clarkson Dental, ColoradoSedation.com.
Colorado's turning 150 years old this month, but if your windows are failing, that could be costing you money on energy bills. Intense summer heat can cause failed seals, drafts, and condensation. Gravina's Window Center of Littleton can help. Gravina's Window Center of Littleton brings over 50 years of expertise. Save 25% on Infinity by Marvin Windows. Call Gravina's Window Center of Littleton today, or visit them at windowsforyourhome.com. That's windowsforyourhome.com.
Colorado, it's time to take our recycling to the next level. That's why Recycle-On Colorado is bringing you more curbside and drop-off service from peaks to prairies. Guidelines as clear as our skies, so you know what goes where. And the price? As free as gawking at Bighorns on I-70. You deserve a recycling system you can count on, like your puffiest winter coat. And we're here to give it to you. Learn more at recycleon.org/Colorado.
Find your next adventure this August in the new 2026 Honda CR-V Hybrid during the Honda Summer Event at Champ Honda. With impressive hybrid efficiency, modern technology, and the versatility Colorado drivers love, the CR-V Hybrid is ready for your daily commute or your next weekend getaway. Champ Honda has one of their largest selections in years, making it easy to find the right vehicle. Plus, with their one price, one person, 1 hour philosophy, buying is simple, transparent, and Champ Honda never charges dealer handling fees.
Walk into the back office of most small businesses and you'll see an old DVR humming on a shelf and a camera over the register the owner isn't even sure is recording. They got that like 10 years ago, and the company that installed it doesn't pick up. Vantage can repair or replace all of it. Cameras that read a face in the dark, access control, network, intercom, AV, one company, one number. Invest in real security for your business or property. Call Vantage at 720-366-7759 or visit business.vssicolorado.com today.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 25% upfront bonus? And are they promising you up to 9% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait, only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They aren't. That's up to $25,000 upfront or up to $9,000 per year on $100,000, guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states has Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan.
Back in, Marcelo Romano, Dante Gomez, the Mez on Denver Sports Tonight, this Tuesday evening in the Mile High City. And yourselves on the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. YouTube chat, you can participate there as well, powered by Champ Honda. All right, Greg Penner sat down and answered some questions today. Is there one that was more revealing to you than anything other, Dante?
I think there was a lot of good stuff in there. Him talking about Sean Payton's extension, him talking about Bo Nix's extension, the stadium, what he's looking for in the next stadium, if he's been frustrated by the stadium. So I thought he told a lot, not necessarily saying it with the words, but you can kind of read between the lines a little bit on some of it. The PSLs where he completely dodged that question, said it was I forgot the exact phrasing. It's probably on the iPad there, but
yeah, you want to hear it?
Yeah, sure. Something to the effect of it's the last thing on his mind right now.
This is Greg Penner on PSLs.
It's the furthest thing from our minds right now. It's just we're so focused on, we've got so many steps before that. As I just mentioned, I mean, it's still a preferred site, but it's not finalized that we're going to be in that location. Obviously, that's where we really want to be. So really, we haven't even gotten the PSLs yet. Our season ticket holders are vital to our organization, and we're going to keep them informed every step of the way once we get there.
I think it's interesting, and you and I discussed this probably about a month ago, the amount of interest in the polarizing topic that the stadium has become. It's other than Bo Nix's ankle. Give me the other big storyline of the offseason. It's whenever news breaks about the stadium, you're going to get views one way or the other. Plus, it seems like they've been constantly having the goalposts move on them, and that's why the questions about being frustrated with the process. Now, they eliminated one of those with the concrete company, right? So they eliminated that. They got that thorn out of their side. I think it's Denver Water that's probably next, but he keeps calling it the preferred site, meaning percentage-wise, what do you think it is that it stays where they want it to be in Burnham Yard? If you keep saying that phrase, that means you're not 80% sure. You're certainly south of that, right?
It's funny you say that. I was going to say 80. So I think it's right about that line. And that's where they want it to be. They want to keep it in Denver, but they need some other people to cooperate with them to make that happen, especially if they're trying to keep that 2031 timeline.
All right, I want to get to this one because as we dream about the new stadium, their new facility down at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit, has been opened, and the players are getting to enjoy that now. Here's what the owner says, what the players think of the new facility.
I mean, everything they've said to us has been incredibly positive. I think they've, obviously the highlights would be the locker room is in, great layout, a lot more space for them. Everything's connected, so it's easy for them to go from one phase to another. They like some of the other, there's a golf sim on the 3rd floor. I've seen players up there. There's some spots where, you never know exactly how spaces are going to get used, but, I saw players sleeping on a couch by a TV downstairs on the 2nd floor, and it's great. I mean, I think they're really enjoying it.
They're the best, man. That's why you have the best owners in professional sports, and they own the Denver Broncos. I mean, the facility is amazing. I've only seen like pictures and stuff of it. But it's not like you're rolling in and there's squatty potties out there, It's like everything is state of the art. So for them to, and I don't know if they create it to make it more like a resort. It's kind of what it looks like almost. It's like you want to go up to, and hang out at a resort, but you're at work and you're a professional athlete. It's unbelievable, dude. I'm not kidding when I say the John Hammond thing because it's everything, and they don't miss details. Like Will and I were talking about this on Freshly Graded the other day. Dante is like the new stadium in Buffalo with the sight lines that were released, and that became the ultimate story. Not that it's not a beautiful stadium, and we can say what we want about the new Buffalo Bill jerseys, but that's something that this ownership group, that doesn't happen because they have people in place to think about what kind of problems could be presented with different scenarios or architecture. I almost was like I was laughing at what some of those sightlines were. There's one in that new Highmark Stadium where 2/3 of the field you can't see. Like if you're playing and that's an opportunity to win a football game, you're going to have to get up and then you're in other people's sightlines and then it becomes a problem. These guys think of everything.
I thought the Buffalo thing got a little overdone. I don't think it's big of an issue as it ended up becoming on Twitter when everyone was complaining about it. But no, you are right. The Broncos pulled out every stop and they spared no expense. And that facility is absolutely beautiful. I thought one of the funnier answers actually from Greg Penner was when he was asked about, is this new facility almost too nice for the players where maybe they're getting a little bit soft out there? And he had a great answer of saying, no, Sean Payton is still our coach. And Sean Payton is that way. He is hard-nosed, and he's going to make these guys work hard during training camp. So I think it's the perfect mix of having a football guy as a head coach and Sean Payton who's going to make these guys go out there and work hard, but while also being able to give these guys the ultimate conditions for recovery and getting ready and team camaraderie. He mentioned about talking about the golf sim or guys taking naps. So it feels like this organization is in the perfect place right now with Sean Payton and the Penners as the two linchpins going forward.
So how soon do they have to secure a championship then before it becomes problematic? And I say that because we can, just listen to this. Here's Greg on Bo Nix's extension.
Not much at this point. We're really, obviously we want Bo here long term, but we're really focused on getting ready for this season, putting a competitive team on the field. And, I'll leave that, obviously, George and Sean will have conversations about it, but I'll leave that up, up to them.
And I bring that up because of the problems you're faced with, or maybe some of the financial constraints that you can be faced with when you have to pay a franchise quarterback. And what's the going rate for that? Reportedly, Baker Mayfield got offered $50 million a year for 2 seasons and turned it down. So if Bo Nix goes out and has a great year this year, what are you looking at, $60, $70 million per year? And then that just puts constraints on what you can do to build the rest of the roster.
Yeah, no, and that's a great point. I hadn't really thought about how soon do they have to go out there and win a Super Bowl for this all to work, and maybe it is the next 2-3 years that we're talking about. And if not, maybe Bo Nix is the guy getting that label that Peyton Manning had early on in his career of, can't win the big one. He was always losing to the New England Patriots and Tom Brady in all those big games. So I think after a while it does start to hurt the messaging from Sean Payton and having these guys work as hard as they are out there, because if the players aren't seeing the results, that's when you get a little bit of a turn in that locker room and maybe a little bit of a mutiny going around there. So I think you need to be able to show that the way they are going about everything is going to turn in the highest of results possible.
Who are teams who's a dynasty to you
in the NFL?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like right now. I'm just like in history.
The Patriots, I think the Chiefs recently.
I'll stop you right there, and those are the two answers I wanted. Because look at how early those two quarterbacks got a Super Bowl underneath their belt. Tom Brady was in his second year. Was Pat Mahomes in his second year too when he won his first?
No, because he lost to Brady, I believe, in the AFC Championship his second year. Because he redshirted that rookie year where Alex Smith was still the quarterback. But I think he might have come back and won it the next year. So second year starting.
Yeah, so technically third year, but yeah, second year actually being on the football field. I was at his debut game when it was Pat Mahomes versus Paxton Lynch. Oh, man. Wow, take you back, huh? Those two quarterbacks.
I drafted him in fantasy that year.
Who?
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
I believe he might have won MVP.
I just remember, but that previous year, and I remember Aqib Talib being asked what he thought about Patrick Mahomes just facing him one time. Like, that dude's a baller. And then we had the guy on our side that was Captain Morgan looking, playing video games and crying on the sideline. Oh, how different it could have been. Hey, but there's another tie there, too. Sean Payton apparently was or reportedly wanted to select Patrick Mahomes in that draft as well. The Chiefs just beat him to it. We'll see how it all plays out. We're going to change gears when we come back. I want to get into the Greek Stalker and then also a little baseball. The Rockies make a call-up, and how many more call-ups will be made before their season ends in September. Dante and I will discuss that coming up next.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
T-Mobile is launching something no other wireless network offers. Introducing Nothing. Pay nothing today and walk out of the store with a new phone.
What did he say?
Nothing.
You definitely said something about nothing.
Exactly. Go to T-Mobile, pay nothing up front, and leave with a new phone.
Wait, nothing rules.
She gets it.
Hey, thanks for nothing.
For the first time ever, switch to T-Mobile, pay nothing. No taxes, no fees, no money down. And walk out with a new phone. There are 250 reasons to choose T-Mobile, and now nothing is holding you back.
On eligible devices with qualifying credit plan and 36-month finance agreement.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. and happy 50th.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. What if you had the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years guaranteed? Thanks to Xfinity, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. Now through August 24th, get the best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats and finds and fixes issues before you even notice them. No annual contracts or commitments, no hidden fees, and the best equipment included. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
The two most exciting words in barbecue: free brisket. Dan Jacobs with 303 Law 4040. And yes, I'm excited to announce the return of free brisket to the best free meal in Denver. Thanks to the generosity of a listener, Barbecue Bob Kunkel, who donated thousands of dollars of free brisket. It will be on the menu for our free meal on Thursday, August 20th from 4 to 6 p.m. at E Hills Church at Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road. You aren't going to want to miss this delicious smoked brisket meal. It's my special recipe with a secret that infuses the meat with a ton of flavor. Want some? It's easy. Just come to Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road between 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, August 20th. You just pull up and pop the trunk. We put the free groceries in your trunk and pass that delicious brisket through the window. No questions asked. If you need any more details, feel free to call us at 303-LAW-4040. That's 303-LAW-4040.
Summer should be a time of joy for children, but Wish kids often miss out due to their illness, creating a dark chapter during a time that should be filled with sunshine and memories. A wish from Make-A-Wish Colorado can change everything for these children, giving them the strength and hope they need to persevere in their fight against critical illness. My name is Carrie Fletcher. I'm part of the Alpine Bank family, member FDIC. Today, Alpine Bank hopes you'll decide to make a life-changing impact in the life of Colorado Wish kids by supporting Make-A-Wish Colorado. There are currently more than 450 Colorado kids with critical illnesses who are waiting for a life-changing wish, and 110 more kids will be diagnosed this summer. You can help make their wishes come true. Visit wish.org/Colorado to help Make-A-Wish Colorado grant some memorable wishes this summer.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan is brought to you by 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Sports Tonight.
Final segment, Denver Sports Tonight. Marcelo Romano, Dante Gomez, the Mez, wrapping it up. You familiar with Trey's song, Mr. Steal Your Girl?
I mean, I couldn't sing any of it, but I've heard of it.
That's what this owner of, can you pronounce this Greek team?
No.
Panathinaikos? Demetrius Yiannakopoulos. I'm probably butchering that. I know I just butchered. I couldn't even
It
get
sounded
it out.
very Greek, so I'm going to give it to you.
All right. The report was that he put an insane offer out in front of Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets to buy out his contract so that he could go and play for him there. And he said it was very serious. But he also said it only took a few seconds for the Nuggets to say, who? Greece? Where? What? Bye. But then he followed up as, let's wait till next year. It's like stage 5 clinger type of stuff. Dante he's just going to keep asking and asking. And he was shot by the basketball Cupid, and all he sees is Nikola Jokic. It's not crazy for somebody to want Nikola Jokic to come and play for their team. He's one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. But so the reality of it is this is laughable, but it made news. It was headlines on a lot of major sites. I bring it up because of this. Not that he's going to play and finish out his career in Greece. That's a big hell no for me. But what it does remind us of is he didn't sign the extension. He didn't sign it last summer. He said he was thinking about not signing it this summer. 10 days later, he told us he's not going to sign it until next summer. I know we can take him at his word that he said he wants to be a Nugget forever. That's all fine and dandy, but things change, and you're at the point of your career, if you're Nikola Jokic, where legacy matters. Championships can only really add to that legacy, and if you're not seeing the proper steps taken by your organization, you will be getting highly recruited come January, February, March of next season. When any other team rolls into Ball Arena or you're playing on the road, like, come join forces with me and let's see what happens. So I think that slope that was a little bit slippery is getting more and more day by day, and depending on how they play out the season. Now, I think they'll probably win 50 to 60 games, but none of that matters. What matters is what you do in the postseason. If you have an exit like you did this year, then you get really worried if you're a Nuggets fan.
Yeah, to me, the Greek thing was a little ridiculous, and I'm not going to pay too much mind to it, but just the fact that that's even a story that got picked up is, to me, a little concerning, that Nikola Jokic could opt out. Nikola Jokic can be an unrestricted free agent a year from now, and that should be at least very concerning to Nuggets Nation. It's concerning to me, and I'd like to see him finish his career a Nugget. And he said a year ago, I'm going to sign this offseason. And now he's saying, I'm going to sign next offseason. It just keeps pushing the can down the road a little bit here. And I would like to, if I'm the Nuggets, I would like to have the assurance that he's going to be here for the long haul. So I think that he will be a Nugget for a long time. And I don't even want to entertain what you're talking about, the teams recruiting him or some of these other players recruiting him to join him. So I had this take, actually. I would rather, if I'm a Nuggets fan, I would rather see Nikola Jokic go play in Greece than go play for the Lakers next year.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
I don't think so either. At that point, it wouldn't obviously be about money. It wouldn't be about trying to win championships. It would be about his lifestyle that he's trying to create, and I can live with that. If I'm a Nuggets fan, it's like, hey, that had nothing to do with me. That was all about what Nikola Jokic wanted in his personal life. So, again, I'm hoping that he signs next offseason, does that 5-year deal, but I'm not so sure it's going to happen. I would say it's more likely than not, but still a little concerning that he said he was going to sign this offseason. Now he's saying it's a year from now.
What was your percentages, say, right after the season ended? That, hey, he's going to sign it this year. He told us last year he didn't sign that one because he'll sign this year, and we were all just waiting for it to happen. As time went by, we got a little bit more and more concerned. But percentage now, or confidence level, that he does sign and finish his career as a Denver Nugget?
I would say it started off at 95%, and it's not that much lower, but I would lower it to 85%.
I'm with you, man, that's a scary 15%, depending on how this season goes, and kind of find like where the Nuggets find themselves and not really having an end game there. So interesting story, but it just kind of reminds you that the Nuggets had a pretty underwhelming offseason, and we'll have to have a pretty successful 2026-2027 campaign so that they can keep in that championship window. All right, change gears to the Diamond. The Rockies call up Zach Veen. Now, this is kind of an interesting one. He's been tearing it up in AAA down in Albuquerque for the
incredible
Isotopes.
numbers in AAA.
Yeah, and it's a kind of a really good story because he struggled with substance abuse issues and kind of seems like he got that squared away, and now he's producing on the Diamond. This is the first of, I hope, a couple call-ups because I think Charlie Condon's doing well as well down in AAA. So this is that time of the year, especially if you're a flailing organization. And I know the Rockies have been a hell of a lot better than they have over certainly last year. But these are the type of players that we want to start seeing play so we can see what type of talent you have. Are you encouraged by, maybe it's a little premature, but because it's typically September call-ups, right? And we're still early in August, but I want to see these guys play, even though it could be all for naught because the league might not even have a game next year. But your thoughts on it, Dante?
I'm excited to see Zach Veen, and I was very unimpressed with him when he came up and played last year for the Rockies. I want to say his batting average was within the 100s.
Yeah.
He only had like 3 or 4 hits in like 30, 40 at-bats. So I was a little out on Zach Veen. Maybe he was premature because he went out and tore it up in AAA, and I'm excited to see what this go-around has for him. And I would say I'm encouraged by the Rockies as an organization, by being able to go out and make the move to DFA somebody that was underperforming. And this is not a team, or this is not a move that is maybe going to make financial sense for this organization, but it makes competitive sense for this organization. So that's all you can ask for if you're rooting for the Rockies to go out there and turn things around. And I'm one that wants to see them go out and turn it around. So I think this is the first step of being able to move on from guys that are not helping you win and test out these young guys. And let's see what Veen does this time. And typically in baseball, guys do get called up and then get sent back down at some point because they weren't successful in their first stint. Happens all the time. Hardly ever does a guy make it up to the bigs and stay at the bigs permanently. So I'm giving Zach Veen another chance here, and let's hope that he's able to have the opportunity to go out there and play enough to where we have a sample size of saying, hey, next year we got a real guy that's coming into spring training and can be a key contributor in this outfield.
We'll get into the next year in a second. And then, like, listen, just to have something to look forward to at this point of the year where there's not just a random call-up. I mean, the guy has earned the opportunity. I think Condon's probably right behind him. If they don't avoid the 100 losses, and then we saw, some talent come up, and we have to stew for a calendar year because baseball and the players can't get a deal figured out, which I think by December 1st they have to have one. They aren't even close. They aren't even in the same neighborhood. Season or not next year, is it shortened or eliminated altogether, Dante?
I'm going to go shortened. I think they get going around like June, July.
I'll take that. You just don't want to miss out on a World Series like we did in 94. And then you had the replacement players and all that different stuff going on. It's amazing for a professional sport not to be able to figure it out nowadays.
It is, but baseball is unlike any other sport. No salary cap, and that's what makes it the most interesting CBA negotiations that we've seen in a while.
That is Dante Gomez. It's Marcello Romano. You've been listening to Denver Sports Tonight on 104.3 The Fan.